Yazeed, any reaction to your conviction?
Mr. Yazeed, do you have any comment on the verdict, sir? Anything you want to say to Aniah Blanchard's family, sir?
So Mr. Yazeed's convicted. He's convicted of felony murder and murder on the 2 counts. We'll come back in May for a sentencing hearing, and we intend to file a notice of appeal dealing with the issues raised in this trial. We are happy that we will not have a penalty phase and have to deal with the death penalty in this case. Based on the evidence in this case, we sat through the trial. No, this wasn't a death penalty case based on the evidence in the state. I'll say this, one other thing. We're appointed in this case. There are people out there saying that Mr. Yazeed had these high-paid private lawyers doing the job that we did. That's laughable. Most people charged with capital murder and death penalty case, they don't get a paid lawyer because they can't afford it. So you're stuck with lawyers that are paid not what a private lawyer would be paid to represent these people. We do as best a job we can with what we get. And it's an uphill struggle. The public ought to appreciate the people, not just in this case, but in all these type of cases throughout the state that handle these death penalty cases. And it's a thankless task, but we do it. We don't do it for the money. Good grief. If we make money, we can go practice some other kind of law, which we make money doing this. But it's an obligation and responsibility. We take an oath as we become attorneys in this state, and we follow that oath.
Can you tell us about Mr. Yazeed's demeanor after the verdict?
Mr. Yazeed has remained very calm, and he listened carefully to all the evidence. A great deal of which the first time he heard it was there from the witness stand. He's concerned. I think you heard him speak up. Somebody in the courtroom may have heard him say that he wanted to appeal, and we'll do that at the appropriate time. But you got to do the sentencing first. There's certain days and deadlines, and we've advised him as to that. So there's not an appeal filed yet because it's not timely. Mr. Yazeed has been made a scapegoat by the elected politicians in this state for 6.5 years. They made him an example on false evidence and statements that had no basis in fact. He was released in Montgomery County on that charge that everybody's spoken about for 6 years because he was entitled to a bond, and the district attorney didn't object to him being released. Nobody reported that. Instead, you castigated Mr. Yazeed and the judge. And the judge did what he would normally do. He was entitled to a bond. The DA didn't object. He set a high bond, and he got out on bond. But the politicians made it say that, oh my God, this man got out. The judge was terrible. How could he let him out? It's easy. When everybody's in agreement, you get a bond, you get a bond. But instead, they went to the legislature and got this whole new package passed in his name and said he did a terrible thing and the judge did a terrible thing. That's not what happened. And nobody has taken the time to go back and look at the facts and the evidence and the records to see that that wasn't the truth. Now, whose fault is that? I've been under a gag order for 6.5 years. I couldn't say it. So look back at yourselves. So your speedy trial bill, they used him again to say that this was a terrible case. They said the judges are delaying the case, which wasn't true. They said the defense counsel are delaying this case, which absolutely was not true. I already told you the timeline that nobody reported on as well. From the time he was bound over to the grand jury in Lee County to the time he was indicted in Macon County. So the basis for your whole Speedy Trial Act, which is basically the Attorney General gets to decide who goes to trial when, is based on a false premises. Sure, we got problems with dockets being overloaded, judges having too many cases, But that's a problem with the system. It's not a problem because of this case. You look at the facts, you'll see that that's not true. But it made no difference. So now we have this new act. So again, just report the facts. People out there are going to make their own conclusions. They're going to make stuff up either. But if the media would report what the facts are about why these things happen, maybe you'd get a few more people that would say, well, maybe that's true, instead of just rushing in and saying the things that are not true. The felony murder was on the count 1, which was kidnapping, capital murder. The intentional murder would have been count 2, which was the robbery, capital murder. And really, y'all don't ever ask about count 3.
They dismissed it.
The state of Alabama dismissed that charge.
We reported that, sir.
So, well, not everybody. So, that was their motion. So that's why there were only 2 alternatives for the jury to consider.